green manure. We can grow green plants like sesbania and later crush it into the soil. Another variety of green manure is azolla. We can grow it in a trough and apply it in the field later. Even wild grass, when mixed in soil, increases the fertility substantially. Don't you think that the grass you are mixing in the soil will damage it? No, it won't. What are these? These are green manure. It makes the soil stronger. Another variety of green manure is BGA, blue-green algae. Let us make a small vat using bricks in such a manner that 6 inches of water can be stored in it. After filling water in it, let us put the termite mound soil and silt soil and mix it well. The next step is to put some mother culture of BGA available in various agricultural research institutions in the water. Finally, some cow dung water has to be applied in the trough. After some days, the concoction will dry up and split into pieces. When applied in the agriculture fields, it increases the fertility of the soil. It leads to an increase in the population of beneficial microorganisms in the soil and makes it soft. Liquid manure magic tonic. To prepare 4 kilograms of this fertilizer, we need 2 kilograms of cow dung, 2 liters of cow urine, 100 grams of molasses, curd or oil cake. These items have to be put in a pitcher and stirred well. After they are mixed properly, the mouth of the pitcher has to be sealed with polythene and the date is written on the pitcher. After 15 days, we can take the contents of the pitcher out and apply it in the field after mixing it with water in the ratio of 1:4 during summer and 1:3 during monsoon. 4 kilograms of this fertilizer can take care of 100 plants. The plants will have healthy growth and production will rise. Have you prepared the fertilizer you are using yourself? Yes, entirely. Why don't you use the fertilizers readily available in the market? Let us not talk about it. It makes the soil rock hard and infertile. Vermiculture. Earthworms play an important role in enhancing the fertility of soil. Therefore, it is important to grow it. The ingredients needed to cultivate earthworm are some broken brick pieces, sand, loam soil, earthworm feed and some basin. Except stone, iron and plastic, most useless items can be sewed to feed for earthworms. The brick pieces are first put at the bottom of the container. A layer of loam soil is then spread over the brick pieces and topped with sand to make a bed. Some earthworm feed and basin is spread on this bed and then some earthworms are released on it. The top of the container is then covered with a piece of sack. Some water has to be sprinkled on it daily. In 15 days, the earthworms will grow twofold. Vermicompost. This manure can be prepared either in an earthen pitcher or a cement tank of 2 meter length, 1 meter width and 1 meter depth. The items needed for its production are some brick pieces, sand, sticky soil, earthworms and earthworm feed. The first step is to prepare a bed at the bottom of the tank by evenly spreading the brick pieces and then covering it with a layer of sand. Some water is then sprinkled on the bed. It is now time to release the earthworms along with their feed on it. The pitcher or the tank has to be covered with sack and watered regularly. To protect the earthworms from ants, their main threats, a drain has to be constructed around the tank and filled with water. After 2 months, we can collect the vermicompost thus prepared, separate the earthworms from it using a sliver and then use it in the agricultural fields. We need to remember that for the first month or so, the pit has to be watered on a daily basis. The use of cow dung water is even better for this purpose. Too much of water or sun rays can kill the earthworms, so the pit has to be well guarded against the sun and rain. The use of chemical fertilizers leads to the loss of soil fertility. The soil has become harder. I apply vermicompost in my land. Vermiwash. The preparation of vermiwash is not very different from that of vermicompost. A bed is prepared with a thick layer of brick pieces at the bottom of a pitcher. It is covered with a layer of sand and topped by a layer of earth. Some earthworms and earthworm feed is then spread on this bed, which is watered daily for the next 15 days. The water accumulated on the bed can now be collected and applied on plants to protect them from diseases, besides providing them plenty of hormones. Nadeb. A 10 feet long, 6 feet wide and 3 feet deep pit has to be constructed to prepare through this process. The bottom of the pit has to be filled up with things like stems, leaves, sticks and straw, and then a concoction of 4 kilograms of cow dung and 10 buckets of water has to be sprinkled on it. The pit has to be filled up layer by layer with soil. After 100 to 120 days, the manure thus prepared can be applied in the paddy fields. Pit compost. 10 feet long, 3 feet wide and 3 feet deep pit or tank has to be constructed and cow dung water is sprinkled at the bottom. Some stems and leaves, both raw and dry, are then dumped into the pit and a mixture of cow dung water and ash is sprinkled on it. The same process has to be followed layer after layer till the pit is fully covered. A stump is then fixed at the center of the pit before it is filled up with earth. After 45 days, the stump in the middle of the pit is shoved around a little and the warmth of the soil at the top is examined. If it is still warm, one has to wait for a few more days. If it feels cold, it means it is ready for use. Basket compost. Digging a pit between two plants and filling it with cow dung water and dry leaves and stems ensures plenty of nutrients for both the plants. The use of fecal matter of hen enhances the fertility of the soil. One can also dry, crush and then apply it in the field. Our forefathers used to apply silt in their field. This ensured the fertility of the soil years together. Cutting fresh leaves and stems into small pieces and applying it in the field not only increases the fertility of the soil but also protects the crops from pest attacks. Strip garden. A 3 feet wide, 9-inch deep pit of any length has to be dug in the soil. The soil extracted from digging the first 5 inches has to be kept on one side of the pit and the soil from the next 4 inches kept on the other side. Thereafter, cow dung water or pitcher manure has to be sprayed all around the pit. After dropping some fresh leaves and stems, some more cow dung water and some ash is sprayed on the bed. The process is repeated 3 times before the top is covered with the earth extracted during the digging of the pit. We have to remember that the soil that came out first must be used first while covering the pit. Spraying water on the pit and sowing seeds on it ensures that the plant have a healthy growth and are well protected from pests and diseases. Multi-cropping. Sowing of multiple crops in the field ensures that even if one crop is damaged, the farmer gets some returns from the other crops. Gold fertilizer toilet. A toilet with 2 safety tanks has to be constructed. After one tank is filled up, its mouth is covered and the mouth of the other is opened. Sowing of seeds around the tank leads to healthy growth of plants as they get plenty of nutrients.
After fertilizers, which provide enough nutrients for the plants, the most important task for the farmers is how to protect his crop from pest and disease attack. The so-called improved seeds are particularly susceptible to them, since they are not acclimatized with the climate of this country. To protect the crops from the pest, the farmer has to keep spending more and more on the pesticides.
If the pesticide gets to our head, it would result in loss and premature graying of hair. If it goes into the eyes will turn red, secrete water, or catch conjunctivitis. If the pesticide goes into the ear, it may cause fungal infection and ear infection. If the skin comes into contact with it, it may develop wounds, scabies, or even cancer. Even the unborn child is not spared by the effects of pesticides.